welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into some really interesting source material, starting with this pretty bold claim, finding a professional happy place.
Yeah, a happy place where, like, your work, your values, and the tech all just click.
Exactly, and the source, Metallicus is my happy place, applies this to something pretty heavy, financial infrastructure.
Right, it's not your usual startup vibe. This is about Metallicus, a company the author says is building the rails that matter most in finance. Foundational stuff.
Totally. So we're diving deep into Metallicus. You know, you hear so much about crypto hype, crazy prices, regulation mess. This source offers something else, something focused on, well, stability, and specifically U.S. compliance.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Our mission here is to figure out what really makes them different. You know, move past the slogans and look at the strategy. Why go for regulatory safety and bank infrastructure instead of, I don't know, the usual crypto speed?
Yeah, what's the trade-off there? What does it cost them? And what's the actual payoff supposed to be?
All right, so that core vision. The source doesn't just call Metallicus a company. It says it's where innovation meets intention. Which, okay, sounds nice.
Sounds very nice. It suggests the tech itself is, like, fundamentally moral or something.
Well, yeah, the source links it directly to big human values. Trust, transparency, inclusion. The argument isn't just our tech is faster. It's our tech aligns finance with what society actually needs.
Okay, hold on. Is that just good marketing? I mean, if you're building high-compliant, super-regulated financial plumbing, where's the radical innovation in that? Isn't the focus more on, you know, playing it safe, risk reduction?
That's the core tension, isn't it? Their innovation isn't launching some viral coin. It's cracking the compliance code. The intention is to plug digital assets safely into the existing, very secure, traditional finance world.
Which means accepting all those rules.
Exactly. And the source explicitly contrasts this. It says the rest of crypto often thrives on hype. New tokens, big promises, endless noise.
Right. So while everyone else is making noise, Metallicus is, quote, quietly building the rails. But why is quiet a good thing here? Don't you need buzz? Network effects are huge in this space, surely.
Well, think about who they're trying to attract. It's not day traders jumping on the next big thing.
Yeah, right. It's the institutions.
Exactly. Banks, credit unions, serious fintechs. And for them, security, audit trails, long-term reliability, that's everything.
So quiet actually signals reliability, less recklessness.
Yeah, potentially. Their selling point is stability. Freedom from legal headaches. Yeah. And for a bank, that's probably way more appealing than, you know, speculative freedom.
Okay, let's shift from the values piece to the actual structure. The digital banking network, TDBN. The vision sounds massive, like a totally compliant space where banks and credit unions can all operate on-chain together.
It's huge. And this is where we go from philosophy to, like, serious engineering. TDBN isn't just one thing. It's a whole stack designed for regulated players.
So multiple layers.
Yeah, think foundation first, the compliance layer, then dedicated spaces like credit union subnets, and then the stablecoin framework that's built to handle regulatory scrutiny.
So when the author talks about the rails, these are the specific heavy-duty parts. We should probably pause on one claim they make, building the first compliant ISO 2022 ready blockchain stack. For anyone listening, what does ISO 2022 readiness actually mean? Why is that hard?
Oh, it's the gold standard. A really big deal for institutions. ISO 2022?
Yeah?
It's not just some random letters. It's the global language for financial messages, how banks talk to each other, basically.
Okay.
So being ready means your system can handle these really data-rich payment messages. It means you can potentially plug into, well, almost any major bank globally. It's complex, it's expensive to build, and it tells institutions you're serious, like really serious, not just a crypto side project.
That structural thinking is key then, designing for rich data, global standards right from the beginning.
Precisely. And you see that in the products mentioned. The source names the metal blockchain subnets, the XMD stablecoin, and the loan protocol.
Right.
Having things like dedicated subnets for credit unions or their own stablecoin, it suggests they're building specific tools for specific institutional problems, not just trying to force old finance onto a generic crypto chain.
Yeah, that definitely screams institutional adoption first. But let's push on that. Why would a bank actually switch? Even if TDBN is ISO ready, changing core systems is a nightmare. What's the killer feature that overcomes that inertia?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The big hurdle is always the investment they already have in old systems.
Right.
The pitch for TDBN seems to be transparent, instant settlement, less counterparty risk, and crucially, all within a predictable U.S. regulatory box. They're selling efficiency plus trust.
Trying to make the digital leap feel less terrifying by wrapping it in familiar rules.
Essentially, yeah, offering a path to upgrade that's, highly auditable and may feel safer because it's built with compliance baked in from the start.
Okay, that focus on the U.S. rules brings us straight to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
The source calls Marshall Hayner a true visionary leader. What's the evidence for visionary, not just, say, a competent founder?
Well, the source points to his track record, his longevity in the space. It says he's been involved from the early days doing everything from policy drafting to product innovation.
So he gets both sides, the rules and the tech.
That seems to be the argument. That mix makes the vision more credible. He's supposedly not just dreaming up ideas. He's been in the trenches where policy gets made.
And his goal, wow, to bring the U.S. Treasury, credit unions, banks fully on-chain using these compliance systems. That's basically aiming to be the plumbing for the U.S. financial system.
It's incredibly ambitious. But here's where it gets, like you said, really interesting. The compliance focus. The source makes a big deal that Metallicus is built in the U.S. They stayed home.
When others left.
Yeah. While others looked for easier rules overseas, they decided to tackle U.S. regulations head-on.
But isn't that a huge risk? Staying in the U.S., regulation here is tough, expensive, slow. Is that choice truly strategic, or did they just tie their own hands?
It's probably both, right? And that's what the source frames as the strategic genius. They accepted the pain because they seem to believe that only compliant systems will ever win over the big global financial players.
So the U.S. regulation isn't a bug, it's a feature, a barrier to entry for competitors.
That looks like the bet. If you can build something that works under the strictest rules, it gains instant credibility elsewhere. They basically wagered that long-term stability and trust beat pure speed or decentralization.
Interesting. So maximizing confidence instead of maybe maximizing decentralization.
Yeah.
And this connects back to Hayner's philosophy. That blockchain isn't just tech, it's a public good.
Right. A tool for financial inclusion, fairness.
How does that connect?
Well, if the underlying rails are transparent and compliant, the idea is that the benefits like lower transaction costs, faster access to funds, can reach people who are currently left out, but without all the regulatory risks we've seen elsewhere. That inclusion angle links the heavy infrastructure work back to those, human values they started with.
Okay, we've hit compliance, ISO standards, institutional focus. It sounds like the most serious, button-down corporate project ever. You'd expect the company culture to be, very formal.
You would think so, right?
But then the author throws in this totally different vibe, this idea of code meets conscience.
Yeah, it's like the necessary counterbalance. Think about it. If you're tasking people with building the foundation for potentially the U.S. financial system,
Okay.
That's immense pressure, huge scrutiny. You need a culture that can actually handle that without burning out or becoming rigid.
And that's where the dash of fun comes in. The author talks about their own side projects, like an AI robot kitty and a golden ring token. Seriously. Robot kitties next to Treasury compliance.
It sounds jarring, definitely. But maybe it's essential. The series foundation is the digital banking network. But the author implies that alongside it, they're kind of building this digital joy network.
A digital joy network.
Yeah, the idea seems to be we can modernize finance and keep that creative spark, that sense of fun and community that, let's be honest, drew a lot of people to the early crypto world.
So the playful stuff, it's like a cultural release valve. A way to keep talented people who like building serious stuff but maybe don't love traditional bank culture.
Could be. Permission to be super disciplined about compliance, but still creative and maybe a bit weird culturally.
Okay, I see. Blending compliance with creativity. Decentralization, maybe in spirit, with discipline and execution. Ambition with authenticity.
Exactly. They're trying to show that serious doesn't have to mean boring or soul-crushing. The final thought from the source really nails it. The best tech isn't just smart, it's human with a dash of fun.
That dash. Maybe that's what keeps the sheer weight of compliance from just flattening everything.
It's a fascinating idea. It acknowledges the people building it need more than just technical specs and regulatory filings. They need, a bit of joy in the process.
What a picture. An organization deliberately taking the tougher path, it seems.
Yeah, definitely a compelling look. So the key takeaways for you listening are pretty clear. Metallicus is betting everything on U.S. compliance being the ultimate edge.
Right. And Marshall Hayner's vision, it's laser focused on delivering that institutional grade ISO 2022 ready plumbing, moving way beyond speculation towards actual utility.
For you, the listener, what this really shows is a potential blueprint. It suggests maybe the real path to mass adoption isn't dodging rules, but embracing them. Hardcore.
The digital banking network idea suggests that future is already happening, where highly regulated finance and decentralized tech start to actually merge.
It really does.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question for you to think about. Given this intense focus on institutional needs, the ISO standards, the US rules, can that promise of financial freedom and this playful culture, the robot kitties and the digital joy network, can those things actually coexist long term?
Or is that exact tension between the hardcore discipline and that dash of playful humanity? Is that the secret sauce? The thing that might actually make digital banking finally work for everyone, from regulators to the people building the next cool thing on top of it?